Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Brendan Payne with the Level Up Podcast and my partner, Greg Harrelson. Greg, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man.
Good.
Doing really good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, me as well. And we have got a legend not only in the real estate industry, but definitely for those in the Century 21 circles. We've got Mr. Jim Fite of Judge Fite Century 21 out of North Texas. So, Jim, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on and spending a little bit of time with us.
You know, I'm just glad I woke up this morning and get to spend an hour with you guys. It's a great day.
That's all. You know, I want to make one just quick observation, and I know I'm interrupting everybody right now, but I like how he gets introduced as not, from Dallas, North Texas, which is like a whole section of one of the biggest states, if not the biggest state in America.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I'm Greg Harrelson from Myrtle Beach. I'm in Charleston and Columbia. Instead of saying, I'm Greg Harrelson and I've got half of the state covered.
Yeah.
So I just to put things in perspective, I hope the audience kind of appreciates that we're really talking about North Texas. And you said how many square miles that your market is? What did you say?
Yeah, we cover about 11,000 square miles.
Wow.
In North Texas.
How many agents are in that area, that section?
I think we're in the 25,000 real estate agents. Not our company.
Of course.
We have about 860, but we're working on that. Yeah. We want them all to join us. They just haven't been, indoctrinated to our way of thinking yet.
That's right. Well, we're hoping that you're going to find more of them, after publishing this podcast for sure. So, Brendan, why don't you go ahead? I'm sorry I interrupted you. I know you're
probably okay. So one of the things, obviously, that for anybody that's probably not within that 25,000 square mile radius that may know of your company, can you give us some insight on? Obviously, you have grown from something to where you are now. Just for those of you that don't know your story, just give us an idea of how you've built what you've got right now.
So how long is this podcast? Excuse me. My mother and father founded our company in 1937.
Wow.
So this year we are 83 years old. My sister Jan and I bought the company from them in 1977. That'd be 43 years ago. And we joined the Century 21 system in 1997. Seven's a big number for us. And so when we bought the company from mom and dad, by the way, there's some applause in the background. That's for you guys. I'm sitting here. We're just finishing up a Let's Talk Real Estate meeting in the other room. So when we bought the company from mom and dad 43 years ago, we had one office and 8 people. And today 24 offices, 850 agents, real estate professionals, and then we have about 150 employees in all of our various companies. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's incredible. So what was when that started at one office, eight agents, family owned, you're starting your legacy, then what was this the plan, or did this evolve?
Well, when I got in the real estate business, I was 18 years old, and I was young, cocky, and thought that I could, fix everything for everybody. And so I definitely, there was a dream that we would be as large as we are today, and still the dream is to be even larger. So it's definitely something that we've been working toward, that started out a long, long time ago as a dream.
Awesome.
What kind of, like, your operations, what kind of volume are y'all doing?
Yeah, I think we ended up between 1.5 and 1.6 billion dollars last year. Yeah.
Got it. Where, if you could remember, where do you think you were? Can you walk us through, like, pre-2007 and 8, where you were, and then kind of what happened during that time, and then where you are now? Because I think what you are doing, there are so many people that are dreaming about doing what you're doing. And in my opinion, they're trying to take a lot of shortcuts and see if they can get to where you are, like, within the next 30 days or maybe 1 year. And it's like, as if that's a possibility. In my mind, it's not a possibility. And I see people kind of coming and going. but you've obviously treated this like you're running a marathon. You know, I'm sure it took time to get to where you are. It just didn't happen overnight. But can you take us through that? Like, what happened pre-2007? Where were you? Then when the market kind of corrected or busted, however you want to articulate it, and then where you are now. Can you tell us maybe how the company was going, you know, maybe production-wise through that process?
Sure. Well, out of my memory, and please don't hold me to these numbers, but I think they're fairly close. We had 2006 was our largest year ever prior to recession. And the recession actually started here October of 2006 was when we first saw the dip. And of course, by 2007, it was in full swing, and here we go. So we had 23 sales offices at that time, as I recall, and I think we were doing about 1.2 billion. Our net profits, let's just say, we were in profit. Let me make that clear. And I'm trying to say what I can say on an open forum here.
Yeah,
let's
and just
say
general information. I'm not looking for personal stuff.
Yeah, our net profit was less than 3% return on revenue. Okay, so we go into the recession. I like to stand up in front of a crowd and pick up a dollar bill and cut it in half and say that's what happened from 2006 to 2010. You know, our company dollar, our gross revenue, our company dollar, and of course our net profit went below below the line significantly for a couple of years. And you know, we went into the recession with 6 months operating reserves and cash. And there was a period of time, come about 2010, before the spring season hit, that all that money was gone, and we had borrowed on a line of credit, and it was looking pretty ugly. And luckily, the spring season hit, and we had reduced expenses significantly. A lot of different things we did, and as a result of that, we came out of it. You know, I believe in leadership, and you know, when we started reducing expenses, we started looking at. By the way, I could talk about this for an hour if you wanted me to, so I'll try to make it a 2-minute summary. We started everything. You know, we looked at every lease, we looked at every creditor, we looked at every check we wrote. Pause for effect there. Every check that we wrote, we looked at it and said, is this something we need to repeat? Or is this something we can not repeat? And I went and I sat in front of every landlord that we had, 23 of them. We were able to negotiate leases and reduce our overhead. Every time a lease came up for renewal, we made a decision whether we were going to downsize that office. And then from a personnel side, we worked hard at not affecting our agents' productivity and doing things that they weren't really seeing that we were doing, that were behind the scenes. When it got to our second biggest overhead was our people. My sister Jan and I looked at our leadership team and I said, we're the first to go. We can not take a salary or any income out of the company for a year. And I want you to know we're going to do that. You know, we have effective immediately. We are not taking any money out. Ultimately, every one of our leadership team took a reduction in their pay so that we could have jobs for everybody. And as a result of that, by the way, Jan and I went 5 years without taking any money out of the company. We could do it for 1, but we did it for 5. We were lucky enough to have made wise personal investments through our lifetime. And so we're pretty conservative with our money. And every one of our leadership team took a reduction in pay, and we're very happy with that. We did not lose one leader. We make that really clear. Not one person left our company during that period of time, unless they were retiring or something like that. And as December 31st, 2011, we paid every single person back 100% of what they had cut for that 5-year period of time.
Wow, that is
That's incredible.
awesome. Awesome, man. So, okay, I don't know if the audience just heard it, but I am one of my questions here, and this is from one of my great friends. You know, Terry Swanson was asking me, or asked me to ask you the question, which is how you've done so well with expanding now, and I'm not talking about expanding all over the country, but expanding in North Texas, and really building such a monster of a company. But it really takes more than you, right? It takes a team. You said you've got 100 plus employees. So how do you manage, inspire, or lead such a robust system? And sustain it for so long, you know, because it seems like you're really steady. You're always at the top, right? So now you may feel like you're on a roller coaster at sometimes, but I look at you and say, this guy is really steady, right? As an observer, you know, how are you getting your team to align together? What is your leadership strategies to actually pull this together so you can grow the way you've grown?
Multiple answers. First of all, we own multiple companies now. We're in the real estate brokerage business. We have a commercial department. We're heavy in relocation. We have a title company, insurance agency, property management company. We manage about 1,600 houses in that department. Then we have, these are single family monthly rentals. I know y'all are in a vacation market.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. So we have these multiple companies, right? So we have a 32 leader leadership team, member leadership team. So we have 32 leaders in our structure. And give you an idea, 3.5 years ago, we had 27 of those people were answering to me directly. And we knew that wasn't sustainable. We knew we couldn't take that to the next level where we planned to go. And also, you might notice I have a couple of gray hairs. I haven't dyed them yet, but I'm thinking about, no, I'm not. And so, you know, the one thing about time is we all age, and we, 83-year-old company, we want our company to live forever. You know, that's the mission. We get calls all the time. We want to buy your company. No, we're not for sale. Well, everybody's got a price. No, we're not for sale. That's just the way it is. So what did we do? Well, 3.5 years ago, we got a hold of the book Traction. Actually, it was 4 years ago last month. It was the first time I saw the book Traction and read it. I took it to our principals group, which at the time, I think there were 4 or 5 of us, and said, hey, this might be an answer to our next level of longevity and a different way we can lead and manage and actually grow our company. And so they read it. We ended up hiring an implementer, a gentleman named Jeff Whittle, which I'd highly recommend to anybody. And so by July, 3.5 years ago, we actually brought Jeff in as a implementer into our company to consult with us. Most companies would call him a consultant. We call it, the Traction plan calls it an implementer. And we started working to implement the process of the entrepreneurial operating system, which is the system in which you operate companies. There are thousands of companies around the world that are now implementing the system. As a result of that, today, I mentioned a minute ago, I had 27 people reporting to me 3.5 years ago. Today, I have 1.
Mm-hmm.
We've built an accountability chart. We have, chief operating officer, my son, who is a second generation or third generation for our company, but certainly my son has been in our company and started at the ground level in the business side of the business. He's now our chief operating officer, Ashley Conlon, who actually is a third generation realtor. We bought her dad's company about 16, 17 years ago. She's now our general sales manager. We have our chief chief financial officer. We have a chief marketing officer. And then my sister, executive vice president, is on that leadership team. And we meet every week, every Wednesday morning. This morning we met at 9. We usually meet at 8:30, but we moved to 30 minutes. But we meet every week, disciplined for an hour and a half through the entrepreneurial operating system. Then we also took our 24 offices, we divided them up into 3 districts. We now have 3 district managers. And then, of course, they have regional sales managers in each of the branches. Some of our branches have a couple of offices, but most of them have one office that they report on. So bottom line is traction and the entrepreneurial operating system is the way we operate our business today. And I will tell you, we're structured to carry this on for another 80 years.
Jim, what was that's a really good summary of what you guys have done on that principle of what that book teaches. But what was the biggest difference and I know this is a tough question, what do you think was the biggest difference in how you had been operating to what you have become now?
Very flat. Of course, coming out of the recession, we had managers in our offices, of course, but we also consolidated some offices during the recession, and we had multiple managers managing 2 offices. And as a result of that, we lowered our overhead. If we had somebody retire, then we figured out or resign, moved across country or whatever. We had a couple of those. We just consolidated offices. We consolidated management. We consolidated overhead. We brought in some technology for back office systems that helped us significantly. We're a paperless company and have been for several years. And so we leveraged technology, we leveraged people, and then coming out of the recession as we were now growing again, I think we ended up maybe we had 900 agents in the beginning, we had 450 at the low part, 400 to 450, now we're at 840, but I will tell you profitability-wise, we are about 6 times what we were before the recession. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So one of the things, Brendan.
Let me also say, too, we have always been a debt-free company. We don't borrow money from anybody anytime. Now, we have a line of credit. A minute ago, I told you. We borrowed on that line of credit through the recession, unfortunately. But today, we are debt-free. We owe nobody anything. And we're very proud of that. And then, by the way, we don't pay interest. And because of that, our profitability is higher. And as a result of that, we currently have close to 8 months operating reserves in cash. We have a goal to get 12. And it seems like every quarter we get there and then we got to pay a K-1 distribution for taxes. We go down, we go up, and then we go down, and then we go. But annually, we are continually adding to that cash reserve. Remember, 2011, we had 0. Mm-hmm. So now we have 8 months, and we're all paying our people very well. And our stockholders, we have multiple stockholders in the company. They're all getting some distribution of return on their initial investment.
That's great.
Nice.
One of the things, Brendan, that I heard him say, so he went from, he had 27 people, Jim, you had 27 people reporting to you. Now you have 1. So in order to do that, you must have been developing leaders. So you developed leaders within your organization, obviously.
Yeah, we actually have a leadership development program. And I'll say 2 things about that. We have a class, a 2-day class every May. And we offer it to the entire company. Anyone who would like to either be in leadership with our company, go into management someday, or another department head, because the president of our title company used to be a manager with us. So anyone wanting to go into leadership is welcome to this 2-day class. And we usually have between 40 and 50 there on day 1. We usually have between 20 and 30 there day 2, because whatever they perceive it to be is totally different than what it is. We tell it, we state the facts. So that's one thing. And we also make it to, if you ever want to own a real estate company, you need to come to this class. It's open to anybody. In other words, we tell our own people, we will train you to be our competitor. Because the fact is, people go into management or leadership thinking it's one thing, it's something totally different. People come into our business in sales they think it's one thing, it's totally different. We got an agent from another company yesterday, and I was talking to her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, Mr. Fite, I had no idea what real estate was all about." Well, same thing when people go from an agent into leadership. They think it's one thing, it's totally different. So we train them on that. I also have an open invitation to anyone in our company or outside of our company that if they are thinking about opening their own real estate company, I will give them 2 hours consulting for free. Open door. Bring in any question you want to ask about running a real estate company. I'll spend 2 hours with you. 2 hours and 1 minute into our conversation, I charge you by the hour. And I have a fee for that, consulting fee. So that's two things that we do. And, hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah.
We're always on the outlook for our leadership culture is I want to find my replacement. I want my managers to find their replacement. We have some people getting close to retirement age. When they come in and say, I got a lady give me a 2-year notice. I'm going to quit in 2 years. Okay. Who's going to replace you? Let's start developing them now.
Yeah.
Very, very, very rarely will we have somebody come in and give us a 2 weeks notice. I'm talking about staff anywhere. I mean, we had a staff person give us 7 months notice recently. And then by the 4th month, she said, I'm staying. And she's still with us 2 years later. So that's a culture. We're one of the best places to work in Dallas-Fort Worth, have been for years by the Dallas Morning News, by the Dallas Business Journal. We're either number 1, number 2, or number 3 best places to work in DFW. And they survey our people to get that recognition. We have a culture of family, of business. It works, but I'm telling you, it's always can be better.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And I think that's a lot of value you just shared. So now let's moving into the future. Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm assuming that anybody that has been labeled a disruptor is probably entered into your marketplace because it's so vast, right?
Right.
How has that changed the way that you perceive, the business, or how is that changing changing your business? If you think about the next 5 years or the next 10 years, what are you afraid of? And what changes are you making based on your perception of where the industry's going? And there might be nothing, but I'm just kind of curious for somebody that has the wisdom and the experience. Like, how do you perceive all this stuff that's going on in our industry?
Well, let me say that change is inevitable. The basics never change. And so let's just talk disruptors, or I call them. I like Brian Buffini's deal. They're distractors, not disruptors. They're taking our eye off the ball if we let it. And so let's kind of break those down. You have the iBuyers, instant buyers. You have the flat fee brokerage companies. You have the no fee brokerage companies, I'll call them, or they, and don't get me started on those. Anyway, you got all kinds of business models. I think we have like 2,000 real estate companies in DFW. Probably 1,900 of them work out of the trunk of their car. But they have agents, they're selling some sizzle to somebody. So let's take them one at a time. Let's start with the iBuyers. They started in our market 3 years plus ago. Open Door was the first. We now have 7 iBuy companies in our marketplace. And we are today, yesterday and the day before, training our real estate professionals on a program that we have implemented called Instant Move. And we are literally taking hold of the iBuyer discussion for our clients. And so we are training our real estate professionals, one, to go out, be very open with it, and say, we will be your representative and we will get you up to 7 offers within 48 to 72 hours if you wish to go this way. And of course, we're training them on how to state the facts to these sellers of these iBuyers. Example, we have true examples. I mean, I put 2 properties, one individually with multiple iBuyers, got 4 offers on it, a rental property I own. I put another property through our instant move program, got offers on both of them. And it was kind of interesting that, you know, the message that they were giving me as a homeowner, property owner, was very, very tempting. If I wasn't an educated realtor, I might have been tempted to sell to one of them. But I am an educated realtor, and I have the facts at my fingertips. And I realized how much I was discounting my property as a result. Well, we're now giving that ammunition to our agents to give to our clients and be able to be the center of that transaction. Even if they want to sell that way, they know we're going to get them the top dollar because we're going to send that property out to 7 different clients instantaneously. 7 different clients, 7 different iBuyers instantaneously. And we're going to bring those, aggregate those offers and submit them to our client. And we're going to be in that discussion to give them the best offer possible for their property, whether it's retail or whether it's through an iBuyer offer. So that's the way we're approaching. We're, rather than being, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, we're getting into the conversation, into the marketing, in our marketplace to be the place to go. Okay. Yes. So that's the iBuyer. Did that answer your question on that one?
Yes. Yeah. And let me just say this. It sounds like instead of becoming defensive about what was going on, you went on the offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it. Love it. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
Welcome to our company.
I love it. I love it.
We're even though I have gray hair, we're pretty progressive in a lot of ways. So that's the latest thing we're kicking off this week in our organization. Okay. So then we get into the 100% shops or, you know, limited service brokers, whatever you want to call, that are out there proliferating in our world and in our market. We believe we offer full service real estate services to our agents and our clients. You know, we're looking at the client benefit and we're looking at our agent benefit, and we're combining those two into a value package that we believe is the best in Dallas-Fort Worth, or I wouldn't work here. Let me make that really clear. We developed a value package comparison chart for interviewees that we're talking to so that they can see, here's what we do. Hey, go out and interview 5, 10. Matter of fact, the record on interviewing before they joined our company was 12 brokerages, and they joined our company. And we gave them this chart. It's a spreadsheet where they can fill in what we have compared to what they have. And to, in my opinion, an educated eye, it's pretty obvious they should work for us once they go out and interview these different places. Now, that's from the agent recruiting perspective. From the client perspective, it's the same thing. You know, our marketing department puts out first-class materials. Our facilities, I would say, are A-type facilities. We, you know, except maybe some rural markets where there aren't A-type facilities, we pride ourselves in investing in our facilities and offering incredible technology. You know, we're on a Zoom call now. We've been using some kind of webinar type technology for, I'm going to say 10 years. And we went to Zoom about 3 years ago. We have, I don't know how many Zoom accounts in our company. It's, you know, very stable technology. We just love it. So the meeting we just had in the other room, if you heard any clapping in the background, maybe you didn't, but you know, that was all being broadcast throughout the company. And we did that yesterday, and we did that the day before. We do all of our Let's Talk Real Estate meetings. Y'all would call them sales meetings probably, or business meetings. All those are Zoom technology. I mean, you know, these are things we offer to our real estate professionals and to our clients. We promote Zoom to our agents so that if they have a customer and they want to go over a contract, they can literally get online, just like we're doing right this minute, pull up the contract and work through that with their customer for $14.95 a month. Why wouldn't an agent have that kind of technology in their toolbox. And for the benefit of our clients, we're going back to the benefit of our clients. So all of our marketing is consistent. All of our tools are consistent. They're not hodgepodged. We spend a lot of time and a lot of money in that area. And so that we can provide the very best technology, very best tools, very best systems possible in the marketplace for our buyers and sellers and our agents.
Strong.
Did I cover your question?
Yes, it covered
So
it. And
I'm competing. I'm going to compete. I'm going to win, but there's room for everybody. We're not for everybody. And by the way, let me make that clear. We don't want an office with 2 or 3 or 5 or 600 agents. Not our business model. We want support. We have 7 levels of support, 7 levels of training, multiple levels of marketing, and so forth and so on in our value package.
You know, I was going to ask on that, like with the amount of agents that you have, you know, how do you systematically push down training, coaching? Obviously, you're using Zoom and you're doing a lot of webinars and a lot of broadcasting, which I could see that being very effective. Do you have coaches within your company? Do you have like a coaching division that's responsible to go out and make sure that they're pushing, you know, quality coaching materials down to the agent level?
Yeah, so we have a training department, 2 people, and they are providing agendas, presentations for all of our regional sales managers. So they're every week. So they're consistent messaging throughout the company. Of course, they add their own office information as well. But our training department, through this EOS process, Entrepreneurial Operating System, we have feedback coming up and down the organization every single week of what's timely, what do we need to communicate to our people. So again, that information is going out. We have daily tips coming from our training department that goes to our regional sales managers that they send out to their offices. So it could be a sales technique tip or a marketing tip or a social media tip or whatever it is every single day. Well, we send it out weekly, but here's your Monday tip, Tuesday tip, Wednesday tip, Thursday tip, Friday tip, every 5 days a week. So that communication is going on. All of our managers, I believe, we may have a couple of new managers that aren't now, but they all are Brian Buffini mentors. And so they've gone through that program to be certified mentors through the Buffini organization. And their job is 4 levels. And this is kind of our company culture: recruit, train, retain, and refer. Recruit, train, retain, and refer. If you get down to it, that's our job description. Our job is to recruit new people into the organization. Our job is to train those people. That would be our 7 levels of training, which is our new agent training, our mentor program, our coaching, our in-office training, our online training. We own a real estate school, and then we bring in organizations like Buffini, like Floyd Wickman. We've just interviewed, I think, Burl Workman's been in our company the last 2 days. So there's always bringing in from the outside. And then we own our own real estate school where our agents get their continuing education at no cost. So if they just attend our training programs, generally speaking, they're going to have their continuing education in Texas that they need every 2 years. So we have 7 levels of training, and coaching is one of those. Our agents coach, our managers coach agents weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly, depending on the individual's goals and their business plan and where they are in their careers, what they need from us.
Well,
Brendan, he's got it together.
you got it down. Now you got it.
I'm going to work for him.
I know.
I got room for one, maybe 2 more.
Fire myself and go to work for you.
But let me say this: we would have to go through an interview process because we just don't take everybody.
That
is fantastic.
I believe it.
So where are you going? So your long-term vision, okay?
Yeah.
Where do you want to take this? You know, where are you taking this over the next 5 to 10 years?
So we do have EOS teaches you. We have a 10-year goal. We have a 3-year goal. We have a 10-year goal, big, hairy, audacious goal. We have a 3-year goal. We have 1-year goals. We have quarterly rocks. As you read Traction, you'll learn about all those terminologies. We have a vision traction organizer. We meet as an EOS team every quarter, and we have a 2-day offsite. Then we bring in our leadership team, our entire leadership team, for a 2-day offsite as well annually. And we do those in September. The EOS team meets for 2 days, and then our leadership team meets in October. By the way, we've done that October meeting for probably close to 40 years. I would say if there's one foundational structure that we've done, it's strategic planning, and we do it really, really, really well forever. But we can always improve.
Yeah.
So where are we going in the future? Well, last 3 years have been setting up that structure for growth. Certainly we've been growing during that time, but structuring for more mergers and acquisitions. I left this out earlier. We've done over 50 mergers into our company over the last 23 years. So that's an average about 2 or 3 a year, 2 a year, I guess. And some years we haven't done any. Other years we've done 5. I've got a meeting this afternoon at 3 o'clock working on another one. So, you know, we're always looking for M&A, but we're also growing organically. We hired 304 people last year, new folks. So, you know, it's just part of our culture, part of our business plan. We are focused on Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas-Fort Worth has 7.2 million people today. By 2030, by the way, that's only 10 years from now.
Yeah.
It's projected, depending on which study you look at. Can't wait for the census to come out and see what they come up with next year. But we're projected to have between 10.8 and 12 million people here in 10 years. That's a growth by 40, 50%, depending on which number you want to look at. So here's my point. We haven't done what we need to do in Dallas-Fort Worth. And it's growing by 40% in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
We have plenty to do. I get calls all the time. You want to move to, you know, buy my company in Austin. You want to buy in San Antonio, Houston, El Paso, Amarillo. You all probably don't know those towns. Maybe Houston, and some of them you do. Anyway, and the answer is no. Thank you. You know, we have plenty to do here to take our focus off of our backyard when it's growing, you know, it's expanding, would be foolish in our company's opinion. So it's a real easy answer. Thank you for calling. We're not interested. Would you like for me to put you in touch with a friend of mine wherever and they might buy? But we're not interested in, now we are interested in growing our umbrella. You know, take your umbrella, you got a little handle on your umbrella and you open it up a little bit and you got a small umbrella and then you have a little larger one. I will tell you the deal I'm working on this afternoon will take us, it'll open up that umbrella a little bit more. So DFW is going to grow significantly. Thank you, California and the Northeast. All of you moving here, please don't change our politics. I won't go into that deeply. But that's the other thing we have to contend with is sometimes the politics. Anyway, won't go there today.
Yeah, so I love it because so many people have thought about growth, and you know there's a you know the KW, you know, they always use the term expansion, right? Expansion model, and it seems like what a lot of people have done is they just expand wherever they can find somebody that will expand with them. And I don't intend to talk negative about any brand, and that wasn't, hopefully nobody takes it that way. But in an expansion in general, I just see people expanding wherever they can get into an expansion conversation. But what you're doing is really controlling your growth. You are pro-growth, obviously. You want to spread that umbrella as
you're either
wide as
growing
you
or
can.
dying.
Yeah, got it. So, but you've just decided to focus on more market share in your given market, which is a big market. But that's what I hear you saying.
Well, let me separate the difference between Keller Williams and Century 21 Judge Fite Company. Keller Williams is a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
They're a franchise. Century 21 is going to open up in, you know, whatever country around the world, or, you know, whatever market that they're not in the United States of America. They're pro-growth and pro-expansion. Keller Williams is pro-expansion. They're looking for people like us to buy a franchise from them. Sorry, that's not my business model, never will be. You know, that's just the way it is. So we are Century 21 Judge Fite Company. You know, we are a real estate brokerage firm. we are Grow Our People organization. And so, yes, my friend at Century 21 Affiliated has offices in 7 states now, I think, maybe 5 to 7. He has a different business model, and that's good for him. Dan's one of my great friends in the real estate cruise, one of my great friends in our system. But he has a different business model, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's his. In our case, by the way, you see my gray hair again? Here's something personal. I'm not going to live on an airplane. If I'm going to get on an airplane, I'm going to get on with my wife, and we're going to travel the world. And we take very nice trips, and we enjoy our lives. We have grandkids, and they're all living in Dallas, Fort Worth. For me to live on an airplane, to do business is not something that I relish. Not when our market is growing.
Yeah.
Now, if our market was contracting, I might be looking at a different model. But we have plenty to do here.
That's awesome.
And I'm not going to borrow venture capital money. That's the other piece. I'm not going to go borrow a bunch of money to take a risk in these other markets when we're doing fine. We're growing, slow and steady, as somebody said earlier.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Well, I tell you, Jim, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation on the Level Up podcast and just share so openly as you have. I think it's going to make a difference for a lot of people that are going to listen to this podcast. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, and I say that with caution, don't give your cell number. It's not what I'm asking you to do. But if somebody did want to reach out and maybe inquire, maybe somebody from North Texas hears this and they say, I want to be a part of your company. What's the best way for them to find you?
Well, those people in North Texas, my cell phone number is 214-502-0250. As far as anybody can email me, you can go out to century21judgefite.com and find me and send me an email that way, or Jim Fite, F-I-T-E, at judgefite.com is my email. And, I find that that offer, very few people take you up on it. But then again, I want to be there for anybody. I'm at the point in life where I want to make a difference in others' lives. And that's what I wake up every day thinking about, and that's what I want to do. I don't have to do this for a living. I do this because I love it, and I do it to make a difference in our clients' lives and our agents' lives and our staff's lives and in our coworkers. If I can make your business better in your marketplace, hey, I'm here to give whatever you have. But of course, you get what you pay for, and you didn't pay anything. So remember, it's worth nothing.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Brendan, as always, if somebody wants to ask you questions, what's the best way to reach out to you? Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, reach out to me through Messenger. That's one of the best ways. And Jim, I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate it. There are so many keys to longevity in this industry, and probably forget real estate. This is just good business. And you got a lot of good stuff in there. I appreciate you hopping on. Well, thank you. It's my pleasure. And we don't have it down yet. We're still working on it, guys. Yep. Yes, that's good. It's a work in progress. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for those in the audience, please, if you have any referrals or if you're an agent and looking for, great leadership, where to go if you're in North Texas. So until the next episode, thank you for listening. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.